Hello everyone, I'm Babla Jonathan and this is the 6 p.m. primetime newscast of Equinoxe television coming to you from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital Douala. In our top stories in this edition of the news, a student's death has plunged the community of Kutaba in the west region of Cameroon into mourning, raising fresh concerns into the wake of this year's brevet d'études du premier cycle BEPC results. The student collapsed and died later in hospital after he was told that he failed the official examination, and family, classmates and residents are struggling to come to terms with the loss. Security forces have dealt a major blow to the counterfeit drug trade in the nation's political capital Yaoundé. A raid into the Damas neighborhood uncovered tons of fake medicine and dismantled an illegal pharmaceutical network. And political tensions are rising in Senegal. A deadly heat wave is gripping Spain, and outrage is spilling onto the streets of India. Around the world, unfolding crises are testing governments and drawing international attention. Those are top stories. This is Equinoxe Television. We are independent, fearless, and credible. Thank you for joining us. Kutaba in the Nous division, west region of Cameroon, is in a situation of mourning following the death of a student of government bilingual high school, GBHS Kutaba, shortly after the release of this year's BEPC, brevet d'études du premier cycle examination results. The death of the student, identified as Arafat, has left his family, classmates, and the wider school community in shock. For me, Armstrong Sander reports.
They are angry technical workers of the Europe-Africa Electricity Company, West and Northwest regions, displaying placards at the company's head office in Bafoussam. The workers revendicate 11 months of unpaid salaries. Besides salaries, they are also reclaiming their social and health insurances, which they say has not been deposited, despite negotiations repeatedly with management and promises from their hierarchy. One of them, Ngimfak Viala, says they have exhausted every available administrative negotiation channels after appealing the West Regional Labour Office, the West Regional Director of the state-owned electricity company Socadel, and the West Governor's Office to no avail. The situation, they say, has destabilized their families, humiliated them, leaving others divorced. My wife left me because I could no longer cater for the family. My family is completely destabilized. My wife and children left, and I run away from my landlord every 5 a.m. Frustrated and hopeless, the workers demand the intervention of concerned top authorities in Cameroon. The protest is one of the hottest files to be handled by the new director of the Cameroon Electricity Company, Socadel.
Workers of the state-owned Mountain Hotel in the southwest regional capital Buea have downed their tools over at least 7 months of unpaid salaries. The protesting staff say mounting debts and worsening living conditions have pushed them to the brink, vowing not to resume work until the government addresses the plight. Rex Alfon reports on Buea.
These are workers of Mountain Hotel in Buea, reclaiming at least 7 months of unpaid salaries. They are owing us 7 months of unpaid salary, plus 3 months of CNPS. We are here to demand for our money. Landlords have chased us from our houses. Children are not able to school. We are telling the government that there is trouble at Mountain Hotel.
make government, say Mountain Hotel, it get a very big problem.
They have vowed not to return to their duty posts until their salary arrears are paid.
We want our money.
We want our money. Henceforth, we are not working until we receive it. Some of us have been taken to the gendarmes and police by their landlords. Some have received quick notice.
Mountain Hotel, it get problem, so maybe they can solve the problem.
The situation, which they say has been dragging for months now, has plunged many of them into serious debts and has made life unbearable.
Latest news streaming into our newsroom indicates that the workers of Mountain Hotel have resumed work after a meeting with the management of the hotel establishment, and the workers and of course the staff representative will be updating you on that. Counterfeit medicine remain a serious public health threat in the nation's capital Yaoundé and across the Republic of Cameroon, but security forces are stepping up the fight against the illegal trade in a new crackdown in the Damas neighborhood. The Center Gendarmerie Legion dismantled an illicit pharmaceutical network, seizing large quantities of fake drugs and shutting down a clandestine treatment center. Equinoxe has greater details.
The Gendarmerie Legion of the Central Region is intensifying its crackdown on the illegal trades in pharmaceutical products in the Damas neighborhoods of Yaoundé. 7 suspected distributors were arrested after allegedly attempting to outsmart security forces by relocating their warehouse within the same area while continuing to stock and sell contraband medicines. Their plan, however, was foiled by vigilant gendarmes. They changed warehouse on the same site, thinking we would not notice. Unfortunately for them, our teams remained vigilant. We seized a huge consignment of counterfeit and illicit medicines, enough to fill 2 of our trucks.
Quantité de faux médicaments qui ont pu remplir 2 camions, c'est assez énorme.
The gendarmes say the suspects have repeatedly taken advantage of the authorities' previous leniency, returning to the same illegal business despite numerous operations aimed at dismantling the network. These individuals have shown open defiance towards law enforcement. Despite repeated operations against these illegal trades, they keep returning to the same location, believing nothing will happen to them. We want them to understand that they will not succeed in this business. The operation also uncovered a disturbing discovery: an illegal treatment center operating without any legal authorization. We discovered what can only be described as a clandestine hospital with 2 beds. People buy drugs here and are immediately injected right at the roadside junction. It is completely unacceptable. The gendarmerie is urging the public to obtain medicines only from licensed pharmacies and to seek treatment exclusively in accredited health facilities under the supervision of qualified medical professionals.
Les médicaments de la rue tuent, ils savent où acheter le bon médicament à la pharmacie avec prescription médicale des médecins.
For security forces, this latest operation is not the end but another step in a sustained campaign to dismantle illegal pharmaceutical networks.
Can Africa truly be free without economic independence? That question is at the heart of a doctoral thesis defended at the University of Douala by Dr. Dimancho Michael, who urges a shift in black consciousness from cultural pride to entrepreneurship, innovation, and wealth creation. Immaculate Fogwe has greater details.
Africa's liberation will remain incomplete unless it is marked by economic independence. That is the central argument of a doctoral thesis recently defended at the University of Douala, which challenges the continent to rethink the future of black consciousness beyond political freedom and cultural pride. The study, carried out by Dr. Dimancho Michael Tashi at the Faculty of Letters and Social Sciences, argues that although colonial administrations withdrew from Africa decades ago, many of the economic structures and systems established during that period continue to influence the continent's development. According to the researcher, this has left many African countries politically independent but still economically dependent. To examine this idea, the research analyzed selected literary text and public discourse by some of Africa's most influential writers and black intellectuals, including Cameroonian playwright Bole Butake. Using qualitative literary and discourse analysis, the study explored how satire has been employed to criticize colonialism, expose the failures of post-independence leadership, and draw attention to corruption, inequality, poor governance, and continued economic dependence. Beyond identifying these challenges, the thesis argues that black consciousness should move into a new phase. Rather than focusing only on psychological liberation, racial pride, and a cultural identity, it says the movement should also promote entrepreneurship, productive capacity, innovation, and economic self-reliance as essential foundations for genuine freedom and sustainable development. The research concludes that Africa's progress would depend on its ability to transform cultural awareness into economic action capable of creating jobs, reducing dependency, and improving the living standards of its people. It recommends that advocates of black consciousness place greater emphasis on economic empowerment as a next step in the continent's liberation journey. The thesis was supervised by Professor Yvette Balana and co-supervised by Dr. Komenek Vivian.
Around the world, Senegal is facing a fresh political uncertainty after the Constitutional Council blocked a major government reform. In Spain, a deadly heat wave has claimed at least 11 lives as authorities issue urgent health warnings. And in India, thousands have taken to the streets demanding justice and tougher laws following the brutal assault of a young man. Lo Manyeru reports.
In West Africa, Senegal's highest court, the Constitutional Council, has blocked the major reform to the country's constitution. The court officially rejected the proposed charges, a decision that was put sudden stop to the government's plan. The major ruling is being seen as a critical moment for the country's political stability, and everyone is waiting to see how the government will respond. Moving to Europe, a dangerous heat wave in Spain has turned deadly. Authorities confirmed that 11 people are now dead due to the extreme heat. Temperature has been climbing to dangerous level over the last few days. Medical teams are urging residents to stay inside, drink water, and look out for vulnerable neighbors as the heat wave continues. In India, massive protest has erupted across the nation. Large crowds of citizens are taken to the street to express deep anger and demand justice following the brutal assault of a young girl. The protesters are calling for immediate action from the government and much stricter laws to protect women and children. The demonstrations are growing by the hours, creating a powerful call for change.
Lo Manyeru ending the first part of this newscast. Talking Point is coming up next. Our guest today is His Royal Majesty Peter Ikome Mesoso III, the mayor of Tiko in the southwest region of Cameroon. Joining us, of course, from Tiko. You're welcome to the program. First question to you. What is the situation of Tiko today? It is one of the communities that has come under the adverse consequences of the close to 10-year-long armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. What's the situation? How is Tiko today?
Well, I will be responding directly as the question goes. Talking about Tiko today, how is it as per the sufferings of the instability years back? I want to say Tiko has moved on, Tiko has progressed. In one way or the other, we have in our local balance, they say one thing is spoil other one, it fix other one. I think within the period of the crisis or political, socio-political crisis or instability, Tiko has experienced a very huge influx of a population that has run in to seek refuge. You know, people left their area to come make Tiko their new home. And these people have impacted, you know, the municipality in one way or the other. Most of the people who came were not just ordinary people, some were business people. But because the instability affected business in their areas, they relocated into Tiko and continued with their business. And some were drivers, some technicians, some farmers. So it has made activities in
for close to 10 years, the Anglophone crisis has slowed down development in several communities across the northwest and southwest regions of the country. But from what you're saying, it looks like Tiko has gained some stability in terms of security and social life. Has development gained momentum?
We'll want to look at this question of yours to be very technical, because when you talk about how fast development in Tiko is running, I will be looking at individual development, and I will be looking at development as a municipality. That's the state's involvement into its development and development as individual. I want to say they both move fast simultaneously. Simultaneously because, in fact, if you look at the infrastructural development of the municipality, some 5 years back, let me say some 7 years back, let me say from 2020 that I took over office to now, I think there's a huge development. Individual development going on, infrastructural development, people building houses, businesses, and otherwise. And also, as the state continue to surrender land to communities, villages within the municipality, it also calls for expansion for individual development. For state development, I think Tiko has benefited a lot, and there's great development because we have benefited a lot from the state, and we have had new projects. Bridges have been constructed, roads have been constructed, health centers have been constructed, schools have been constructed. A good number of them, I think, since I took over office. So that alone, if I can analyze, I would say that Tiko have moved. If I can grade it to 100%, I can say Tiko have moved 80%.
Are you telling us today that Tiko has flipped the page of the Anglophone crisis? Is everything back to normal in Tiko today?
I think there should be a non-objection here. I should say yes. Yes, because Tiko looks to some people as their bus stop. Tiko looks to some people as an embassy. Tiko looks to some people like a refugees camp, where after you have escaped all the troubles, all the worry, you come and settle, and you settle peacefully. I will confess without any pride or proud to say God has been protecting Tiko municipality. And sometimes when I think of why it is protecting it so greatly, I see because everybody has found it as a place of refuge. And if God can see it as a place of refuge, then it is also incumbent that it has to be kept out of some of the casualties as a result of the crisis. So I think
now, recently, some of the inhabitants of Tiko, especially women, took to the streets protesting over the increasing rate of drug consumption in Tiko. How bad is the situation?
Yes, that issue of illegal, let me call it drug consumption, it's honestly, it is the responsibility of the state is the responsibility of the state. The people can take to the street from now till tomorrow. It is the responsibility of the state. They can take from the street from now till tomorrow. It is just to make their voice being heard by the state that things are happening that are not going well. I read some of those placards. They say that they are proposing that they should fighting against drug. They should lay hold to the drug lords and other things. Yeah, they can hold on the drug lords, but I don't see it that way the best to solve the problem. In my own view, there should be a law, a bill should be passed that if you are involved in this case, this kind of thing should happen to you. Either you are serving some terms of maybe a prison or in a correctional center or some things like that. There should be a law, a bill should be passed that can be very hard to make people have fear to know that if I am caught, I am gone. And if this law is passed and people have fear about it, the drug lords will have fear to get into that business. And the moment they have fear to get into that business and they off hands, automatically the consumers too will also off hands, because if they cannot get who delivers the drugs to them, obviously they will abstain, because they will not lay hold on the drugs. And so, because of, in fact, to be honest, this drug has surrendered our youth. It's like it's a spirit. I see it not just ordinarily drug, but like there's a spirit behind this drug, because when you get involved and they start taking it, they change automatically. They go out of the normal reasoning, go out of behavior. How can a child take drug and be insulting the mother, beating the mother, vandalizing the parents? It is not normal. There should be an influence, and this influence of this drug can be accompanied by a spirit. So I, in my own opinion, I'm giving my voice to the government, making a clarion call that no to this drug, it should stop, and that they should intensify a law, a bill be passed, that when someone is involved or caught into this action or caught into the sales of it, there have to be some strong sentence. I think it is going to yield some fruits.
Right, you started talking about the consequences of drug consumption on the consumers, especially the young people. Tell us more about the impact of the sale and consumption of illegal drugs on the society in your community.
It is a very huge threat, because under the influence of drug, patriotism become in existence. Under the influence of drug, you will find the common subject. We talk about rape and the rest, vandalization, and I don't know how I can put it, because what I notice is that when these young people have not taken this drug, it drives them as if at a point in time they are getting mad because they need it. So he can even see you with a bag and just pull the bag to see whether there's money in the bag. And if there's no money in the bag, he thinks he can, a bag that maybe you got, or a phone or something you got for 1 million, they can give it out for 100,000, 50,000, just because they want to get the drug. But now, I followed a certain case in court one day, and the judge was talking about he was talking about influence. The judge was talking about influence, and he said somebody can act out of the influence of the drug. And if you act out of influence of the drug, good. Where did you get the drug? It goes now to the lords. Now, so the lords cannot go free in the accusation of this drug issue, because when you provide the drug and the youths, they take the drug and they act under the influence of the drug, you are part of that influence. And so what we have to do is that the states have to kill this thing from the root. It has to kill it from the root, and the successful way of killing it from the root, part of it is the borders. The borders. If drug can leap from one country to another and pass through the border, when the customs are there, where does the blame come?
Your Majesty, I want you to talk to the drug consumers in your community and even those out of the Tiko municipality. Talk to the people of Tiko about this issue.
I want to say that there is the diplomacy that the municipality works on, and it is that particular diplomacy of decentralization, the approach of bottom to top. You know, sometimes we don't just sit in the office and take actions, but we go down to the field to discuss with our people, to understand their view, we make exchange in discussions, we try to get their feelings, we try to know what they need, we try to know their priorities, and that's why the councils sometimes we have what they call a town hall meeting. And it's in town hall meeting that we have this big exchange of discussing with our zonal chairmen. And the fastest way we took to penetrate the municipality is that we carved the municipality into zones. I said now I think we have 21 zones, and we have zonal heads. We used to call them in meeting, we discuss, and informations are disseminated. Our own local security informations are disseminated. Development activity informations are disseminated. When there's anything we need to do in the municipality, it takes not up to 24 hours for the whole municipality to be aware of this. We have other WhatsApp social media groupings where our information runs there faster and things go the way they're supposed to go. So we really succeed in doing many things by working with the local population.
Right, that's about what you've been doing and how you've been communicating with the people to keep Tiko standing despite the security instability, the sociopolitical instability, despite the problem of illegal drug consumption in your municipality. Now, I want you to talk to the drug consumers, the people of Tiko.
Drug consumers, I will appeal that I will also have a word for the state. For the drug consumers, I want to tell them that they have to stop disease from consuming this drug because it will deteriorate their lives. They will deteriorate slowly, and they will vanish from the face of the earth. Drug has nothing as a value to add to your life. As young people, I will advise that you need to concentrate, learn a trade, go to school, do something to prepare to become a future of tomorrow. Tomorrow, some of us who are parents will not be there any longer. It will need some youth to become mayors. It will need some youth to become DOs and to become ministers, SDOs, and governors. And they cannot become such personalities under influence of drug. They can only become such personality under the influence of good academic background and of some patriotic excellence. For the states, I want to say that the state should create an opportunity to recruit young people in companies and other structures so that they should be occupied. When these youths are too loose because they don't have ways, they don't have places to be occupied, to engage, to work, they will be involved in activities as such. And therefore, for Tiko to get out of this mess, I am appealing to the state, to His Excellency the President of the Republic, to go back and make a review of the airport project, the Tiko International Airport project, because by mathematics I make on the table, I already knew that if this project is done and it goes operational, we will have not less than 500 youths working in this airport. Your Excellency, I appeal, if the Limbe Deep Seaport project kicks off, Tiko has a terminal. We will have not less than 300 youths, men and women, who will work in this particular seaport terminal. And if you calculate it, if all these projects go operational, we'll have about 1,000 people who will have job opportunities. And I think most of these youths will be occupied because round the clock they will have something to do. They will not be idle to concentrate on drugs. Thank you very much.
His Royal Majesty Peter Ikome Mesoso III, the mayor of Tiko, is one of those who have been advocating for peace, development, and the well-being of the society. He has also been constantly calling on the pro-independence fighters to drop their guns and come out of the bushes and return to the normal life trend so that peace can prevail across the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Thank you so much for having this conversation with us. That's it for today. God bless Cameroon. God bless Africa. Goodbye.